Welcome to Finding Beloved, The Fire Within. I am your host, Amy, and this is a space for healing, self-love, feminine embodiment, emotional freedom, and becoming the woman you were always meant to be. This podcast is for the women who have spent years feeling everything so deeply. The woman who walks into a room and senses everyone's energy. The woman who has been strong for everyone else, but is now learning how to come home to herself. Here, we're going to talk about love, relationships, healing, spirituality, sensuality, self-worth, boundaries, and the sacred journey of becoming. And today, for the very first episode, I want to talk about something that has been very alive for me. How do we stop absorbing everyone else's energy and begin building a fire within ourselves that is stronger than anything outside of us? Segment 1, the woman who feels everything. For so much of my life, I have been someone who feels deeply. I feel the mood in a room. I feel the shift in someone's tone. I feel when someone's pulling away, when someone is upset, when someone feels off. And for a long time, I thought this was just who I was. Sensitive, intuitive, empathetic, a woman who could read between the lines. And while that can be a beautiful gift, it can also become exhausting when you don't know where you end and other people begin. Because when you absorb everything, you start to lose yourself. You start asking, are they mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Why does their energy feel different? How can I fix this? How can I make everyone feel okay again? And without even realizing it, your nervous system becomes attached to everyone else's emotional state. Their peace becomes your peace. Their chaos becomes your chaos. Their approval becomes your safety. And that's not freedom. That is emotional entanglement. And I say this with so much compassion because I know this pattern intimately. Sometimes we become this way because we had to. Maybe at some point in our lives, being hyper-aware helped us survive. Maybe reading people kept us safe. Maybe anticipating someone's needs helped us avoid rejection, conflict, or abandonment. But what once protected us can eventually imprison us. And at some point, we have to ask, who am I when I'm not managing everyone else's feelings? Who am I when I am not shrinking, scanning, fixing, proving, or bracing? Who am I when I finally return to myself? Segment 2, the revelation. Build the fire within. Recently, I had a conversation with my mentor. I shared with him that I had gone to an event, and instead of fully enjoying myself, I felt like I was absorbing everybody else's energy. I could feel too much. The room, the emotions, the opinions, the projections, the subtle dynamics. And he said something that landed deeply for me. He reminded me that I need to practice detaching from what other people think or feel. Not in a cold way, not in a disconnected way, but in a sovereign way, a grounded way, a way that says, I can love people without carrying them. I can be open without being invaded. I can be compassionate without absorbing. I can be present without abandoning myself. And then he reminded me to keep doing my practices. Fear inventory, connecting with my body, returning to my center, building my own internal fire. That phrase, the fire within, stayed with me. Because fire does not ask permission to burn. Fire does not dim itself because a room feels heavy. Fire does not negotiate with darkness. Fire simply is. And I realized that maybe the work is not to become less sensitive. Maybe the work is to become more rooted. Maybe the work is not to stop feeling. Maybe the work is to stop being ruled by what I feel. Maybe my sensitivity was never the problem. Maybe the problem was not having enough inner fire to hold my own energy while being around others. That changed something in me. Because now the question is no longer, how do I protect myself from everyone? The question becomes, how do I become so deeply connected to my own spirit, my own body, my own truth, and my own light that I no longer collapse into the energy around me? That is the practice. That is the initiation. That is the becoming. Segment 3. What it means to become Serafina. I recently chose the name Serafina as an embodiment of this next version of myself. Serafina means fiery, burning, angelic, radiant. To me, she represents the highest feminine fire. Not aggressive fire, not defensive fire, not the kind of fire that burns everything down because it is wounded, but sacred fire, the fire of presence, the fire of truth, the fire of sensuality, the fire of confidence, the fire of a woman who knows who she is. Serafina is the woman who does not chase. She magnetizes. She does not beg to be chosen. She chooses herself first. She does not over-explain her boundaries. She honors them. She does not absorb every emotion in the room. She lets energy move around her without taking it in as her own. She is soft, but not weak. Open, but not unprotected. Loving, but not self-abandoning. Radiant, but not performing. She is not trying to be powerful. She remembers that she already is. And that is the woman I am learning to embody. Not perfectly, not all at once, but moment by moment, breath by breath, choice by choice. Every time I pause before reacting, I build the fire. Every time I listen to my body, I build the fire. Every time I tell the truth, I build the fire. Every time I choose not to absorb someone else's mood, I build the fire. Every time I come back to myself, I build the fire. Segment 4, a practice for the listener. So I want to offer you a simple practice today. You can do this anytime you feel overwhelmed by other people's energy. Place one hand on your heart. Place one hand on your lower belly. Take a slow breath in and exhale. Now say to yourself, what is mine? Pause. Then ask, what is not mine? Sometimes that one question is enough to create separation. Because not every feeling in your body belongs to you. Not every mood in the room is your responsibility. Not every person's disappointment is your assignment. Not every shift in someone's energy requires you to fix, chase, explain, or prove. Then imagine a small flame in your lower belly. Maybe it starts as a tiny golden light. With each breath, imagine it growing warmer, brighter, stronger. Let it spread through your body, your hips, your heart, your throat, your face, your eyes, and say, I return to myself. I call my energy back. I release what is not mine. My fire is stronger than the energy around me. My glow belongs to me. My peace belongs to me. My body is my home. Take one more breath and let that be enough for today. As I close this first episode, I want to remind you of something. You do not have to become harder to be protected. You do not have to shut down your heart to be safe. You do not have to lose your softness in order to become powerful. You can be deeply feminine and deeply boundaried. You can be loving and discerning. You can be open and sovereign. You can feel deeply without carrying everything. And maybe that is the real journey of becoming beloved. Not finding love outside of yourself first, but finding the beloved within. The woman who has always been there. The woman beneath the fear. The woman beneath the guardedness. The woman beneath the overthinking. The woman beneath the survival patterns. The radiant one. The sacred one. The one with fire in her body and love in her heart. Thank you for joining me for the very first episode of Finding Beloved, The Fire Within. If this episode spoke to you, take a screenshot, share it with a woman who needs to hear it, or simply carry this reminder with you today. You are allowed to return to yourself. You are allowed to glow. You are allowed to burn brighter. Until next time, keep coming home to your body, your truth, your love, and your fire.